Joe P says, "Hey, Monster Mash and the Graveyard Smash Boys. 5 months into my first office job, and I noticed one of the most underhanded tactics I've ever had the misfortune of coming across. In every bathroom, the toilet paper rolls would be crushed up into an oval shape. Apparently, this is a cost-saving ploy to ensure that you could never take more than a small section to use at the time, and it would limit unnecessary bathroom time and toilet paper waste."
That's awful.
What it meant in reality was that you could only use one sheet at a time.
You need more than one
What's
sheet.
the worst shady office work dealing you've ever experienced or heard about to keep the working man down? Never stops, never stopping, Joe P. I always talk about wet naps because that became a statement that...
That the fuck?
It became a statement at the company I was working at a while back ago, like when I was doing QA. There was a point when me and the guy I was working with were just sitting there and looking around, and we're watching as each cost-effective new plan rolled out and how disastrous it was because it was so desperate and that it was poorly thought out.
It would always lead to bigger problems than the one it was trying to solve.
Every single time. And our favorite, because it all culminated eventually after a buildup of like, nope, change this, roll that out, got rid of this. Just little quality of life things going away as opposed to coming in, you know? And the one that we got down to was wet naps because once upon a time, a standard thing to do at the end of a day of test was to go around to every aisle and hand out wet naps for everyone to wipe their controllers, keyboards, and mice down, and then your hands.
That's great.
And go home.
That seems very nice.
Just clean your station and head
you're
out.
sweaty and you've been
Everything,
grinding it up all day.
everything, right? And then at the same time, you'd use, and you could then whatever, like the cleaning people would then pass by, clean up the rest, and everyone's fine. There was also a place over at the front of the office where there was a bucket of like wet naps. You can go grab it anytime if you needed.
Yeah, if you sneezed on your shit or whatever.
Yeah, or puked
That
or
was eventually considered too much of a cost, and in trying to save everywhere they could, it included not having wet naps.
Oh, we'll save like $80 a day on this shit if we just cut out all the wet naps.
We got rid of wet naps. We stopped handing them out. No more wet naps available for your pulling, and no more cleaning at the end of the day. And
live in your own film.
We literally watched people get more sick at the office over time, and would see everyone missing. How much money is that? What's the project? Oh, that much. Okay, that's that much money you're not getting today because you have less test. Right? That's that. There's that much money.
A whole day because like what? You got 30 people working on it, and 3 people missed 10 days.
Right?
That's
right.
A whole day gone.
And certainly and you were going to pay this person whatever they were at, and so on and so forth. And it was like, okay, so the moment one person gets sick for one day, the cost of your wet naps is immediately evaporated. Right. And it was like, you fucking morons. You don't understand. It's like, this is not something that you look at and go, oh yeah, no, save that $80.
Well, it's
like,
always
it's so stupid and short-sighted.
It's this corporate thing. You look.
And of course, it wasn't limited to one person. It happened everywhere.
You look at it from back to front instead of front to back. You go, hey, what are we spending money on? This. What can we cut and still do our jobs? This. And at no point someone asks, hey, wait, why did we do that in the first place?
Yeah. And if
the answer is, oh, so people don't get fucking sick.
And if you were lucky, your quality assurance coordinator, your QAC, would be sitting at the end of your row, and he'd have his own bottle of squirty fucking hand wipe for you.
You should get
if you were lucky that he or she would bring in. But for the most part, the enforcing of that also, of course, when people come in and they never had that, it doesn't become a whole thing. Hygiene goes down. Like, you watch it happen. And so, like, once we had that moment of calculation and saw that occur, it then became a thing where we walk in, see something else is gone, see whatever, you know what I mean? Like, oh, the guy whose job it was to, like, handle the hardware and like, not have this tangled controller mess inside this closet over here.
Yeah, he's sick.
Oh, you got rid of that person? No, you got rid of that person?
He's just gone?
You got to go figure it out yourself now because that person left and you didn't fucking replace them? Hey, man, wet naps. You know? It just became the all catch-all for... oh, everyone's lives are more miserable and the company's making less money as a result of your stupid incompetence. Hey, man, wet naps. So that's the first with a bullet to me.
I know one that's not really. It was meant to get more money, but it wasn't really meant to save. It wasn't like cheap idiots or whatever. But there was two things. A guy at one of the testing places I was working at. It was like a guy that's like, I have these bold new ideas. One of them went through and one of them did not. So he goes, for our clients, I'm going to give them like this spiel where I'm like, your room that you have your game being tested in is completely locked down. There's going to be a code on the door, and only people that are hired on your project will be there. Yeah. There'll be no miscreants from other groups, and that guy, if he doesn't know anything about your game, he's never going to see it. Don't worry. That they instituted. They put in these stupid door codes with the big buttons, and you'd forget it, you'd whatever. I need to actually talk to a guy in there about like a technical issue, whatever. Can't fucking knock. What? I need to talk. No. What do you want? I need to talk to so and so. Well, he can't. He's busy. I'm like, I need talk to him on break. Like I was told not to let anyone else in except if for him or him, like bosses. Fine.
This is already so stupid,
right? And this was like, this is that room. This is that room. Then there was like this negative sort of almost turf-like behavior, like get out of our room. Like, this is our room. We're on this special project.
That's why we have it sealed off, so that you plebs can't get in here.
This is our special project, and whatever. And it was, like, really standoffish. And, like, when I started working there, it was just, these doors had the fucking things frosted so you couldn't see in. So you couldn't even see if the motherfucker you wanted to talk to was in the goddamn room in the first place.
I mean,
this is the one that was instituted.
I hear
I'm going to tell you about the one that was not.
Okay, because I was like, that's so standard from where like that became such a bog standard thing for security purposes.
Yeah. That
cold rooms and lockdowns and whatnot for these projects were often contingent on no one else in the office knowing about them.
Right, I know. I know you went through the same sort of thing.
Yeah, so it always became a thing where they just kind of went, look, use the instant messaging to talk to the person you need to talk to.
I wasn't allowed.
Well, then you have.
Only leads. At the time, I became a lead.
Yeah.
But at the time, I couldn't.
Well, that's a whole other, that's a whole other, like,
I can't get through this level,
stupid.
or I don't know, like, the fucking command, like, there's a guy that was working on it, like, a month ago. Well, where is he? Oh, he's on that room. He got moved to that project now, but whatever.
Right.
The one that did not get instituted, this guy was like, I'm going to put in cameras, and the cameras will show live feeds to our clients to always let them see how many people are working on the game, so we never feel like we grift them.
Awesome.
Well, we're going to have 12 people on your project, and then for the click of a button, they could see it. They could see how many people are given just to keep their eye on us. This did not get instituted because it was going to cost too much money to install all this shit. And secondly, the clients are like, that's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
This was just
I don't want to do that.
This is just a rumored reason where I just heard from one of the leads at the time where like, yeah, like the main client he was pitching to, which I believe was LucasArts at the time. Mm-hmm. They're like, no, we don't need that. We trust you to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, no, but here's to make sure that you can trust us.
Would you like to see our whips and chains?
See, that's the dumbest
We have such a display of whips and chains you.
That's the dumbest thing in the world, because they pitch that to the company, but it has nothing to do with the company because the company expects the work to be done. That's to fuck with the employees,
but I think
to make sure that they don't take breaks.
That's what everyone thought too. They were like, "Oh no, that's the catch to see if I'm sleeping," which I do a lot.
Periodically, we'll send you, the client, a text and simply reply yes if we should stop beating our employees, and don't reply if you approve.
I've personally never worked in an office, so I don't have any office stories.
I got one for you,
but.
Okay, that's fine.
I have worked a retail job, and retail has its own cost-saving shenanigans. So, as I mentioned before, I used to work minimum wage bagging at a grocery store for many years. Why? Because everything sucks and the world is not fair. But, so, used to be when you close a store, guess what? When you close a store, stuff's got to be put away, stuff's got to be cleaned up, stuff's got to be moved around, places got to be closed, right? This includes warding off the asshole customers that desperately need milk at 10:20 p.m. when the store closes at 10, right? It used to be that you would be scheduled till 10:30, right? Because I mean, you're actually only going to get out at 10:30, and if you're coming in early, say the place opens at 7, you get scheduled at 6:30 because I mean you're coming in for 6:30, and then you're getting all your shit ready, and you're working to get the place ready. At some point under new management, after the old management got caught embezzling all the money from the head company,
As you do.
the corporate manager instead of the private manager came in and said, "That's stupid. Why are you? All right, so hey, Pat, you're doing the closing shift, right? Like, yeah, you're scheduled till 10." I go, "Great. I love finishing early." 10 rolls around, punch out. What the fuck? Where are you going? It's 10. I'm done. Well, no, you have to close up. But so the way they wanted it to work was that you would stay the extra until you were actually needed, then punch out. But because of the way that the punch cards work in this place, you have to get
On
it
the minute.
signed from your boss, or else it's not valid for your paycheck. But because of the way Quebec labor laws work, if you punch out, there's no fucking way you're doing a
Punching
single
back
minute
in.
of work.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
cannot
yeah.
punch back
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
you
yeah.
are done.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much legally required to leave. Every night for like months, every single employee, the same fight with supervisors who didn't care. Who just didn't care. And the morning one's even worse because they say, come in, you start at 7. You know what you have to do to open a grocery store at 7 in the morning? You got to do newspapers. You got to do some cleanup. You got to put the mats out. You got to do all this shit. So you come in at 7 and you start, and somebody comes out and goes, what the hell? The newspapers? Why isn't it done? And in some cases, because you didn't get there early enough, the newspapers would be stolen by the homeless people to get sold down the street. It's like, well, I'm starting. It's just to save.
It's
half an hour a night on 3 employees.
It's any job that requires overtime where you don't want to acknowledge the overtime, and like that's why Quebec has those laws.
Yes, and it's why I punched. You can't. You're not even supposed to talk to me, right? And the other one that I have is my dad, where he was working at a factory. He's an old guy from the old era, and he works at a factory.
Yep.
And his job was essentially to make sure nothing exploded. So he would check, hey, these bars are good. This machine is working fine. This test went properly. Your measurements are in order. Write that stuff. And then the guy he was working with, the guy who did his job on the second shift, unfortunately became extremely deathly ill for many years and had to leave and was on sick leave.
Yeah.
So they said, hey, you should just, when you're in, just do his job too.
Well, do I get paid twice?
A little. You get paid like 1.1 times as much.
Oh.
And don't work more hours. Just do both tasks.
Yeah.
Just do double the tasks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The task that is essentially safety checks.
Yeah.
What is that? No, we're not going to pay you more overtime than we would normally pay you. We'll pay you the overtime that you normally accrue. But every office has that.
Oh no, the oldest in the book is absolutely the 2-man job is gone. One of the guys is left. Now you do both.
Just do both.
And
do I get a raise? You get a little raise. Just a little. You get $1. You get $1. Right?
Define raise. Yeah, no.
Well, you'll be working a lot more hours, so you'll make more money.
You'll have more authority. People will have to listen to you. Yeah, no.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it's 101.
Whenever
Scumbaggery
overtime would happen, and they're like, "Where's the money for our meal?"
Yeah.
There isn't any today. Well, I guess I'm not working today. Because your life would depend on that meal.
So working in QA, working in the trenches in particular, had a
Okay, you need to specify that because people don't know what the trenches. The trenches is the QA nightmare.
Yeah,
is the fucking
just generally any job.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah,
but I mean, when in QA, you're referring to the trenches. It's you're in the fucking pit, with your test kit, and you're doing the mindless activity all day, hoping for something.
hoping for the definition of insanity, which is do this enough times, maybe something will be different on the 81st try.
Maybe you'll enter a bug. Maybe you'll catch a bullet.
Maybe you'll get fired.
God willing. No, so you learn the definition of NAUSE, right? Especially working with the Brits. NAUSE, NAUSE, right? And it is a word. It is a catch-all word for like just an underlying level of unnecessary annoyingness to things. And so much of the, that's such a NAUSE. Why are you being a NAUSE? That's like everything about the job contained NAUSE, right? So you're operating with that as a normal given, and the thing that's understood. And I remember one day I got put on mobile where we were working the phone games. And
as pre-smartphone games, I'm sure.
Pre-smartphone games, for sure. And this was now, because that's hell, because you're just on these different fucking handsets. And it was a day where they were piloting a new system.
Oh, God.
And the system was the one where upon locking your computer's test kit and taking your break, the clock started. And the little clock would show you how much break time you have left in the day. And if you go to the bathroom, you're deducting from that time. And you see exactly, or not deducting, it's adding up rather. And it's showing you how much time you've been away from your kit.
Holy shit.
That single thing, that single one factor will make anyone, even the best employee you have, go from having a mildly irritating but otherwise productive day to the most stressful, annoyed, high-strung they've ever been, because that number is there to tell you how much of a shit employee you're being. And it's the definition of one of those little systems that they roll out that you can buy that pretty much only exists to torture the people that work for you, And even if no one acts on it, even if your boss doesn't show up and go, "Hey, man, you've been," or whatever, it's just a number that's there to constantly scratch away at you and fuck you up.
It's like your spawn and your fucking life counter.
The number counter for Spawn's powers, 9999, going down every day. It was insane, dude. And like, obviously they didn't roll that out in the greater screen to the rest of the company.
It got to beta, but
because it's like I can feel the articles being written about this thing, about how devastating it is to your mental state.
Your psyche.
By lunch, I was fucking done. Like I'm like, I just don't. You don't want to be there. You don't want to deal with this, because even if you get up for the 30 seconds to walk to get your drink from the vending machine and walk back, there's that number.
This
psychological torture, dude.
This has reminded me of 3 different awful things. One is, hey, retail employees. You see a retail employee with a name tag? Guess what? They hate that name tag.
Sure.
That name tag exists so that a customer that has a fake problem can get them in trouble with their boss. And that's the only reason. So the customer who is lying and trying to steal from the store can go and say, hey, Pat was a dick to me. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, check the cameras. Like, no, we don't have time to check the cameras. Just apologize. Mm-hmm. No! 2.
That sounds like a really real story.
Yes, it is. 2 is the grocery store I worked at had faulty freezers for the meat and the ice cream. Every fucking month, they would just turn off, and they would do that thing the grocery store freezers do, where they would turn off, and that means all the ice that has built up in the machine just starts to leak out in infinity water.
Oh yeah,
just infinity. And you used to go to that store.
Yeah.
You would go in, and it's just a swamp. So what they would do is they would take a person from every department in the store and say, you are mopping the floor the entire day. Instead of calling a guy, here's where it gets really nuts. Instead of calling somebody that morning to come over and fix it, they would have like 5 or 6 employees mop the entire day and blow their entire shift wasted, so that they could wait until the not busy after dinner hour to call the plumber and save on the guy coming down. And if it broke at night, they would have the night crew mop all night and not do their job just so they could wait until the morning
to
call the plumber to come in. So because the rate would be low. God fucking forbid replace.
That's just smart. That's just good business.
I was there 8 years. Those
Yeah.
fridges broke every single month for the entire 8 years I was there. Hundreds of shifts gone instead of buying new fucking ones.
That's what you call smart money. That's smart money.
Hundreds. But the
Smart
worst
money
one
makes
ever.
money.
You talk about the pilot. We had something like that actually instituted. You used to have punch cards, just standard ass old fashioned punch card you see dating back to the 50s.
Yep.
Push it in, stamps the time.
Yep.
Push it in, stamps the time. That's it. Too many people are taking 5 extra minutes on their 15-minute break so that they can actually eat food on their 4-hour and 59-minute shift so that we only have to give them the one break. So we have implemented a new system. The new system will log your time. It's not going to punch it into a card. It's now logged into a computer that your supervisor can pull up at any time. And in order to log your time, you have to punch in your ID number, which no one remembers because we didn't have ID numbers prior to this. And in addition to your ID number, you have to verify it with your fucking fingerprint.
Wow. I thought retinal scan for sure.
With your fucking fingerprint.
Biometrics.
There you go.
So
there you go.
So this is minimum wage employee.
Yeah.
You have your 15 minutes. Now biometrically register your fingerprint so that you're allowed to go on break. Now, in addition, this is a 15-minute break. How long does a punch card take? 1 second?
Second, yeah.
How long do you have to wait behind somebody so that the line of people biometric? Oh, it didn't work. Okay, again. Okay, it didn't work. Okay. So you would
perhaps more than 5 minutes.
And you count it on your thing. It's like, okay, I have 15 minutes starting now. But it took you 5 minutes to do that. So when you come back, you get yelled at by your boss because you actually took 25-minute break because of the extra time you had to use on the fucking fingerprint reader.
For
minimum wage baggers and cashiers.
Why wouldn't you put the money for the biometric fingerprint scanners into your freezers and just buy new freezers? I don't get it.
Biometric freezers.
Fingerprint scanners must be way more expensive than freezers.
There's probably fucking $10 trillion.
So you know what this led to? This led to a situation. Hey, the computer says you took 25 minutes on your break. Yeah? What?
Right.
Fire me.
Yeah. Right.
Well, we can't fire you because you've been here for longer than 6 months and the union's really strong, actually. Okay, so I'm just going to take however fucking long a break I want and just walk out of the store because I don't give a shit.
Oh, boy.
Like, it led to that.
Yeah.
With almost every single person in the staff. And it's like, you've created a new, bigger problem by just, oh my God.
But, someone comes in and they're a consultant that has to find ways to
save money, save time.
Yeah.
I have a dream almost every week in which I wake up going, man, I got to quit my fucking job. I got to call the store and just... And then I get confused.
I had that with school where I still think I'm school.
I legit get confused and go, oh, I haven't worked at the store in like 5 years.
Yeah.
And I've gone that with testing too, Worley, where I'm like, I'm really enjoying being a YouTuber. I really wish I could fucking quit my testing job. And I think to myself, I can. I'm probably doing really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, but I'm just not. I'm still testing for some reason.
Yeah. No, there's stories of the like personal assistants waking up in the middle of the night going, I got.
Because it's what you spend most of your life doing.
Because it just programs it into you in a like trauma reflex kind of way.
Yeah.
I remember
that was fun.
I remember walking by the store one day and them saying, hey, we need you. Get in here.
And you're just like, I guess I gotta.
And I went, it's my day off, 1. And it's Boxing Day, 2. no. And they're like, we're going to talk about this on Monday. I'm like, motherfucker!
Just casually.
It's my day off! You don't get to do that!
Why are you hanging around there?
Because it was in the big shopping center.
It was the mall.
But still,
yeah.
though.
Just casually, like you happen to be going that direction.
Yeah, I just walked by and my boss saw me and said, "Hey, get in. We need you." No.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you mean?
You
no?
look okay. Get in.
Like,
okay, for a second, that's still pretty funny. But for a second, because you're that's coming up. For a second, I thought you meant recently you walked by.
No.
Yeah, me too.
And someone said that, and you just had a fucking flashback.
If that happened, I would go crazy.
Yeah.
I would lose it.
Like, I thought you just paused and went, you have a moment of, do I have to do what he says?
I thought it would be like, it would go even further where you're half putting on the smock or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, no, what? No! And
Dude.
you throw it down on the floor.
I was
dude.
in that store recently buying paper towels, and I thought like I wiped something off my jacket, like dust from a cab or something, and I saw my hand was dirty, and I went to walk in the back to wash my hands before realizing what the fuck am I doing? Fuck! It's not even the same layout. They've completely rebuilt the whole store. Oh my god! Man.
Yeah, I haven't been there
That's
in years.
gonna be with you till the day you die, motherfucker.
Absolutely.
I haven't
That's
been there
not
in
going
years
anywhere.
I don't live anywhere near there anymore, so like, there's no reason to go in. I forget what it even looks like.
That's not going anywhere, man.
It's cool.
Wow.
Retail and the trenches and offices will kill you. They will kill you dead.
But they build character.
But
they don't.
But you'll make minimum wage though. So
Yeah, you'll make minimum wage.
Some people have noticed that they've already gotten bigger paychecks.
Hey, did you guys?
You might even get an extra shiny dollar.
Oh, that line! I heard that too.
Yeah.
We've
$1.
We've altered the way that the money goes out for this fucking.
For minimum wage people.
I still remember.
They're just like
some people have already noticed.
There was the paycheck line.
Yeah.
And then not this is not QA, this is pre-QA.
Yeah,
but I remember there's the paycheck line, and then there was the line for complaints about your check.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And literally one shrank and one grew. And it was just get your check, take a look,
It's wrong.
take 2 steps to the right, go to the back of that line.
Yeah, where we both used to work very early on. Yeah, I remember that, always having issues with checks. But
Unbelievable.
every other place I've been to, it's like, yeah, maybe once a year you'll see like, what the
Yeah.
no,
this was a verify with your eyeballs, look at your own
and then
phone.
verify with your screaming voice.
Yeah.
In like
and
5
then
minutes.
walk to the next line right at the second table.
Every single because of the way that a grocery store works and the way that people come in for shifts. You guys were working Monday to Friday usually, right? So it would be Friday or Monday that would be the bad day, right? Because of the way the grocery store works, every single day, the boss or supervisor would have to take an hour out of their shift with the employees that came in and go, you didn't pay me for multiple days. Not like the 15 minutes here or there.
Yeah.
You didn't pay me for Sunday. Mm-hmm. You didn't, and it became discovered as to what it actually was. What it actually was is if you got called in, since that wasn't on your schedule, it didn't count. So
the person
you had to ask for it to be changed.
Wow. So whoever did payroll was just
guess what happened?
Yeah.
You get called.
Yeah.
Everyone had their phones ring a certain thing, and it was you remember that when I had a ringtone for work that was don't answer.
I don't, but
it went off around you a lot, and it's like,
Okay.
and you would go, "What's that?" That's work off, because don't even answer, because if you don't answer, you can't tell them that you can't come in.
Right.
Because if you do come in, they're not going to put it on your check, and then you blow half an hour arguing with them to put it on your check, and then it gets rolled over to the next week.
Yeah. And God forbid you're like too tired to like sit and pull out your calculator and do your hours.
Yeah,
too.
that's what they hope. They hope that you're like, if you see a discrepancy, they'll be like, well, they're either too stupid or too lazy to like complain about this missing.
Which
like,
guess
whatever.
what? I am. So
Damn it, you got
know.
me. This is a frame trap I had no way out of.
Now, I should point out to everyone who probably wonders, yes, almost everything we have described in these things, especially the paycheck stuff, is super against the law. You are not allowed to do that. But it's a mistake.
Doesn't stop
it
it
happened.
from
It
The bureaucracy.
It's definitely not a systemic, intentional thing that has gone on for a decade.
Yeah. The resistance to screen break policy was a great one, because when your job involves staring at a screen, you're allowed 5 minutes an hour to just not stare at the screen.
So you stare at your shoes,
and that's law,
your
right,
hands.
as well, or whatever, and that includes like, geez,
that's why you put bullshit on your little cubicle desk so you have something to look
whatever
at.
the fuck. And like when that was first like a thing that people brought up, because the law was already there, but just no one was using it until someone said, "Hey guys, did you know you can do this?" And it's like, "Oh shit, really?"
Oh shit.
And then like the initial resistance was just like,
"Why aren't you working?
What do you think you're doing?" It's like, "I'm taking my screen break." You're what? No, this is legally. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Like it was that.
That's unfortunate for you.
Yeah. And but here's the problem. Like, okay, this is not you with your contract. All right, this is not with you on job. This is you with your contract. You're not permanent, and who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow?
Who knows?
Right? And it's like I'm on my screen break. Are you? Yeah. You're taking a break from your screen. Yeah. Where you're working, where you should be working. Yeah. Okay. Look back at the wall where your picture and your name is on the schedule for the next couple days, and just go, okay.
I hated that wall because that wall also kind of
enjoy your screen break.
Depressing to look at that wall.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good idea.
Calendar and just your face with your dumb little smile.
Lana hated that wall. When
staring
she was
at you,
too.
telling you, fine.
She didn't like you either. She's like, she sees you over there, and she's like, she sees you laughing or whatever because you're above her at that point. She was like, oh, what's he doing over there? He's having fun, or I can't tell. And then she just looked at the wall, and she's just like, oh, my name. Oh, I gotta go in the next day or whatever. She just always wished she was hanging out in that area.
Yeah, no, it's some bullshit, man. All right.
But then she got to work on Third Strike, so
hey, that's a pro.
Don't make cry. How about that?
And DMC. You and Liam sure grilled her for information she didn't have or care about. Can you do table hopper? Get out of my face, nerds.
I gotta go test video games.
Yeah.
What is coming up and out?
Oh, man.